Oh, here, there's a record button. Okay, I just started recording.
Yeah,
Everyone,
okay.
okay, so hello, the rest of this committee. This is what we're up to. We're planning Freshers Week, giving you guys an update on what Adler and I've been up to, detailing a bit about finding sponsorships, because everyone's going to kind of teamwork on that, sending out emails and feelers to various businesses around Dublin. I'll talk a little bit about how we're getting funding from Societies Council, and then I'll talk about the Society's website that we're going to start designing and making content for, as well as like upkeeping and keeping updated over the school year, and then a bit for events officers and just generally, honestly, on how to book rooms for around the campus for events because everyone's kind of need to kind of do that. Choir director, jazz manager, eventually when we have like professional music teachers, there someone's going to have to be responsible for making sure there's consistent room for those rehearsals, and that's you're going to need to know how to do that because events officers technically won't have to worry about that. I'd say I'd keep that all in the choir manager's hands and jazz manager's hands, but yeah. Okay, so those are our five things that we're going over today. Um, yeah, okay, I'll get started. So I don't have any other slides, so this is just all I'm going with. So, bit on Freshers Week. What have Adler and I been up to over the summer thus far? We are having a Battle of the Bands that we do every year. Um, and that's going to be hosted in collaboration with Societies Council. And then we're also having a club night on, I think, September 17th, the Thursday night of Freshers Week. We have the Grand Social booked. That's the one like on Bachelor's Walk, just north of the Liffey. Um, and we're having a professional band in addition to like whoever wins band battle of the bands, they're also performing. And then it's this big club night we're collabing with Art Sock, who's like the kind of this past year the master of club nights. And so this is going to be our big event to start off the year. It's also expensive, so we also have to make sure we sell tickets. So tell all of your friends that they are going to be at the Grand Social on Thursday night of Freshers Week because that's the big event. Um, and so what we've been doing with that is kind of trying to like get music groups and bands to perform either on behalf of various societies or just like on their own. And we're just trying to fund as many as possible to kind of perform on stage. They're going to be performing like outside the freshers tent. So, Societies Council usually has a big stage set up. We are going to have like a whole like band performance setup. We'll have like a keyboard and speakers and mic cables and mic stands and a drum set. And all of that's going to be set up on the stage, and then a bunch of bands are going to come and play. And then we'll have a social media situation going where people vote. We have video clips of all the bands that have performed. We'll probably live stream it too if we can. And then that's our big event. So that's Freshers Week event one. And then we're still figuring out what part of the hours, the many, many hours of Freshers Week will be the Battle of the Bands portion, because that's the time where everyone will want to be there. We'll try to find a time when as many of the members of committee are available. So as soon as you get your timetable, come, I think, is it the last week of August, first week of September? You'll want to uh sorry, I lost my train of thought. You'll want to send that to me. I'll make a Google form for you guys to like put, oh yeah, this is the times I'm busy, this is the times I'm available. Because I'll not only need that information to make sure we have someone at the freshers stand all of Freshers Week, but also to make sure that I we pick a time for though we'll have to probably do that before timetables come out. We'll probably have to determine a time for Battle of the Bands like within a month or a month and a half, just for the sake of like coordinating all the music groups, coordinating with the Societies Council, etc. So we'll just try it. Hope that as many of you guys are available as possible during the hours because we'll need people to like kind of be stage managers in that like or like equipment managers to like, oh yeah, let's help make sure this band gets like the so that the time between one band ending and the next band starting is as smooth as possible. Move all their instruments, plug in all their equipment, etc. So that's gonna happen. And
Sorry, do
then
we have equipment managers?
I'm let me
And
look.
if
I
yes,
have
who
a
is
list.
that? And if not, who is gonna do it?
Claudia's gonna be an equipment manager, and then let me see who else I have written down. Uh,
Okay, that's fine. Just so we have someone.
yes, we do. And then as well as like possibly like within the first month of the school year, I'm gonna be like doing an emergency general meeting to find a couple of positions we don't have. If you guys noticed the most previous like real post I did on Music Sock, we're trying to find another public relations officer because the person who we got from the AGM in April didn't even hasn't joined the WhatsApp and hasn't replied to any of my emails, so I'm assuming that they're not doing it. Um, and therefore we need a couple more positions. So yes, Claudia's our equipment manager. And as well, like during the Battle of the Bands hours, everyone's an equipment manager. Everyone needs to be doing um like something to help with logistics. So, but as well, we're gonna try to have an equipment manager in general just to like kind of keep track of all the stuff in the studio, make sure like make sure things are moved properly, like when Jazz has to go practice in Harmony Studio, make sure that process goes smoothly. But yeah,
Then I
at
guess
the
we need
moment,
a rehearsal. We need a rehearsal of like the transitions between bands,
yeah,
knowing what equipment each one.
yeah,
Because not everybody knows the cables for music
yeah. We'll
equipment
be doing
either,
a
so
whole
it needs to be
tutorial.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, but good point. Yes, we will need a rehearsal for Battle of the Bands. You are very correct there. I hadn't even thought of that. I um yeah, so just kind of I guess since you mentioned it, this is kind of who everyone is. I'm Tristan, I'm your auditor. Adler's your vice auditor. Ace here is your secretary. Shona is treasurer. Aneska and Hannah are events officers. Public relations officer is a vacant position at the moment, though someone named Naisha was gonna do it. Um, OCMs are two people from last year's jazz program, so that's Sam and Phelan. Equipment manager is Claudia, and then our guitar lesson manager is Tito, and then our choir director is Natanya. And then we also have our jazz director who's Hugo, and then yeah, that's everyone that we have so far. If you guys think of other positions we might want to have, or things we might need, like if we need more public relations officers, if we need more equipment managers, if we're gonna need more people running music lessons, that kind of thing. I you could just let me know and we can recruit that person during our um emergency general meeting. I think that's the word. Extraordinary general meeting, I think it is called, which we'll probably have late September to like finish off, make sure everyone is happy and that we have a person for every responsibility that arises. Yeah. Okay, let me get back to okay. I think that covers Freshers Week planning. A couple of things that we also might aim to have done or like as an event. Hold on, I have it written down. Is probably like a meet the instruments event. So we're gonna try to find someone like a player, like someone who's proficient in and all the major like instruments and kind of have them do a little gig where they like show off the instrument. People can play with the instrument potentially if the musician is comfortable with it. Uh, what else do I have? Um, we also like just generally there's that big club night. Oh yeah, okay. Battle of the Bands potentially. Okay, so here's a schedule for Freshers Week potentially. We still need to do have more organizational steps to make this happen, but Monday will be Battle of the Bands. Tuesday might be another part half of Battle of the Bands if we want to have like a prelims and finals kind of situation. Um, we'll probably have a Game Society collab where we play the Mario game soundtrack so like it would be either Super Mario Brothers or Mario Kart. We would have the score and people would play along. That would be a GameStop collab that's been done for the past couple of years. And then another collab we might have is a History Sock pub quiz where it's kind of like a guess the music thing, but it's like also just music history maybe, but that'll be a thing. And then Thursday is established that we'll have the grand social. That's the big thing. Club night. Everyone's got to be there. And then Friday will be potentially a meet the instruments event, which will require more coordination. If any of you guys play instruments or you have friends who play instruments, invite them. They'll play a little piece and then potentially have, if they want to bring an instrument that they don't care too much about, for people to try playing, because we're trying to get people excited about learning instruments, and participating in these groups. Because the whole idea is like, oh, this is an entry level group. All the music organizations that we have are for not just beginners, but like that you have the ability to start if you haven't played an instrument before, because that's going to make it so that as many people are able to join our society as possible. And the more people we have, the more funding we have. So, um, sponsorship hunting, that's the next thing. The biggest thing is we have a slideshow that we're going to try sending to as many potential sponsors and companies as possible. We'll have a email template that we have. I will send both of these things out. And then I'll make potentially we'll have like another group in the committee WhatsApp group that just says sponsorship, and that's where we can all brainstorm together what companies we might want as sponsors. Because the goal is we're gonna have a membership card that we give out at Freshers Week, and it's gonna have a bunch of vouchers and coupons on the back with various deals. And we're also gonna have like advertising-ish things we have at this fresher stand with logos and like we'll be like, oh yeah, so for example, an instrument shop that's nearby, we'll try to get a sponsorship from them, and then we can talk about them and like promote them during Freshers Week when we're talking to new members. So that'll be another kind of deal. We're also we're aiming to have Hot Press, which is like kind of like a music pop culture like magazine publication, um, sponsor Battle of the Bands. That's in the works. And then yeah, other things like that. So we're gonna try to brainstorm all together, find companies, email them. Emailing is gonna be easy because we already have the content and the template laid out. It just per company, we're gonna be like, oh, here's why we think you would be a good sponsor, and here's what we'll do to promote you. Yeah. Okay. Sponsorship hunting, done. Okay. Next. Basic capital and special grant. These are how we get funding from societies council specifically, because we can't just run on sponsorships. And we have good relations now with Societies Council. I've been working closely with Luke Shields, who's in charge on the student end, just kind of communicating, saying like, here's what we're gonna do next year. Here's what we need. I got the bank mandate sorted out. I turned in all my forms on time, that kind of thing. Like you want to have good relations with Societies Council in order to get money. And I think we're there at the moment. So yay. Basic grant. Over the summer, we need to work on like an outline for the year that has like, okay, here's the events we're going to try to have regularly. Here are the like professional musicians we're going to try to pay to do regular lessons. Here are the events we want to do, gigs we want to do, performances. Here's what we want to buy, what we'll need to buy. For example, if we want to pay for a rehearsal space off campus regularly, if we want to pay a professional musician to perform, if we want to have food at like after events, that's all like kind of continuous cost that is part of this running the society. That's the kind of money we're applying to receive from Societies Council. That is the basic grant. Next is the capital grant. This is for things that we need to buy for the like material goods that are going to outlast just our session. So if there's a previous grant, the most recent capital grant we received was for 1,500 euros to purchase a drum set. That money was not utilized because we didn't purchase it because no one fronted the money. But I will be using that money this summer to actually order a new drum set for Jazz and ourselves to use for the school year. And he's going to live in the studio. And then we're receiving, so yeah, that should ship. I'm hoping to order it within the month, and then it'll be shipped sometime next month or the following month. So latest, we have the new drum set in August. But yeah, so That's an example of a capital grant where we're buying something we're going to keep for the society as a whole. So, for example, there's like various like microphones, various drums, that speakers. We have a Mac Studio Pro in the office. Um, all these things were purchased with capital grant, and even though we didn't purchase it, we were benefiting from it long after as the 17th year of the society. So yeah, and then special grant is for like things like trips and things like the club night. If we want to apply for money specifically for an event that requires a significant amount of money that exceeds the basic grant and exceeds what a capital grant is, because like if an event is a one-time thing, so it's not like a capital grant eligible thing. That's what a special grant is. So if we want to go on a trip where we like, for example, like a festival and our choir does really well and we get them into a festival, that's a trip that we can apply for money for, and members of the society can go on that trip and it's educational. That's a special grant. We will detail what the trip will look like, send it into Society's Council and get money for it. And that subsidizes so that like each member of the society only pays like €50 to have all their transportation and accommodation and potentially food covered on the trip. Yep, that is funding from Society's Council. Next is the UCD Society's website. So this is something that has not been utilized and needs to be utilized in order for us to get funding. So if you guys go and look at UCD Society's .ie/music, it's gonna be from like 2019. And we are fixing that this summer with we upload new text, new photos, new info, new links, new embeds, and all sorts of things to make this an attractive website, because this is how like new incoming students will research us. This is how various like tons of things. It's important. And it's out of date. So if you guys have things you want to like see on the website, or like if we have like for example, if Natanya has specific ideas on how the choir program is going to be, write a little description of your choir program. Same with jazz, Hugo, if you want to like detail what jazz does, we can have a little box in the website for each of those programs. And then like assemble photos. I think we have a lot of older photos in the Google Drive, which I can give you guys access to, which we can use like if you guys want to rifle through them and select the good photos, and we can put them on the website. And then this is like a long-standing thing with the society's website, is we need to post all of our events onto the society's website so that it is advertised around campus on like various like TVs that the UCD has. It'll also make it so that like it goes out in emails that go out from UCD. And then also just makes it so Society's Council is aware of what we're doing. Yeah. Okay, that's Society's website. Woo! Okay, and that we're gonna try to have updated by the start of August. So if you guys so people running, so like Hugo, Natanya, events officers, public relations officers, if you guys want to write out like a paragraph relating to the ethos of your program, just email that to MusicSoc, and then I will put it all into a big old document and put that into the website when I update it. Last but not least, events officers. A little bit about what you're going to be doing this school year, as well as directors, Natanya, Hugo, how you guys are going to book your rehearsal spaces or event spaces. There are two ways to do it. There is, I think, forget the specific name of the website. We'll have a separate meeting, or like there's a slideshow, I think, from Society's Council on how to do it, but there's a sports something website that we have that allows you to book rooms in the student center. So that's the blue room, the red room, Harmony Studio. What else is there? Yeah, just like anything in the student center. You've all probably, also the Fitzgerald Chamber. You've all probably been to a society event at one of these locations. The way that is booked is through the website. I think it's Sports Direct. That's what it's called, Sports Direct. and you have to go on at like 8 a.m. 3 weeks before the event and bam, book it as soon as possible because everyone's smashing buttons. All the various committee members of various societies trying to get those rooms. So you have to be up early and you got to book it. So events officers, that is something you'll be doing. As well as people running music lessons. Tito, if you want to book like the spot or the room we're going to have reserved for the guitar lessons, because depending on how many people, I don't think, or depending on how many people we have learning guitar, we might not want to have it in the studio. We might want to have it in like a big group lesson in the Fitzgerald chamber, you know? Um, so my idea would be to have the Fitzgerald chamber consistently booked for the hour before LNH has it, because LNH always has it on Tuesdays and or Thursdays. I forget which. Lostock then has it a different day of the week. That's like a given hour that like a lot of people are in that room. But the hour before that, people generally aren't in the room. So I'm thinking we have like our choir rehearsals in there, that we have group lessons in there, whatever else. So that's kind of something that we'll be booking through Sports Direct. And I'll give you guys all the logins and the related info from Society's Council on how that's booked. Uh, off-campus things, when we book events for off-campus things, that's all done with directly with, like, for example, if we have a pub quiz, you gotta contact the pub and pay the fee to reserve it. Whereas everything that we do every time we use a space on campus, it's free, but it requires like punctuality and determination to get, because every society's competing for the same, like, spot, because everyone has events. Um, yes, that is that. Another way that I want to be utilize, or another way to book space on the campus, and it's something I want to utilize, but requires a bit more patience, is UCD estate services, because the sports direct thing that most societies are competing for is the most like smooth process, but it's also the most oversaturated process, like, and like, to book rooms. So there's another way where you book with you do a Google form and you like call UCD Estates and you reserve like a room in Newman or Agshines or O'Brien or Sutherland or Quinn Building. And those have like, there's loads of classrooms and lecture halls that you can book, but it requires more patience because you have to like nag estate services and like confirm that you've booked the room. And it's a bit more of a hassle because UCD Estate Services is notorious for being very difficult to work with, apparently. But I want to try to utilize that as much as possible. Like, for example, if we don't get to the Fitzgerald chamber, we can have like a like lecture hall in Newman Building for choir rehearsals, or a lecture hall in Sutherland, or a tutorial room in O'Brien as a rehearsal space. And that will be easier because there's so many classrooms and lecture halls to choose from that societies don't book. So it's going to be easier if we miss our opportunity to get a room on Sports Direct, because like I said, Game Society and LNH and Lostock and all these other societies that consistently have events in the student center are all competing for the spots. So yes, we want to consistently have a consistent space for all the events we'll be doing regularly, because we are if we're going to be a productive society, we have to have weekly events that repeat every week. Like piano lessons every Monday, guitar lessons every Tuesday, choir rehearsal every Wednesday, and so on and so forth. Like that needs to be repeated. Yeah. So what do I need for that? Okay, have like 10 minutes left on the free note taking. So I will wrap it up. Good thing we're on the last thing. Yeah, so I think that covers it. It's UCD Estate Services. There's going to be a Google form that we can use, and we just have to nag Estate Services and hopefully reserve a room. Or we have to be on top of it, booking Sports Direct events, same spot. Like if we want to have like choir rehearsals this past year were very inconsistent in time and location, and I want to fix that. So, ideally, like I said, we'll have choir rehearsals like the hour before LNH debates in the Fitzgerald chamber. Same goes for like whatever group lessons we need to have. Piano lessons would have to happen in the piano room, which is in the Newman basement, and we can work with the music or like the music department, UCD music department, to reserve that consistently for piano lessons. Because we don't have the means or the space to have like a bajillion keyboards. But yeah, it's gonna be feasible to have regular events in a regular space at a regular time as long as we're all on top of it. Um, yeah. Okay. I think that covers all the things I wanted to cover. Freshers Week, sponsorships, grants, society's website, and events space booking. So any questions?
Sorry, maybe you said it, but what's the way to get rooms through UCD State Services?
So there's a Google form that I have the link to, and I will send it to events officers in the near future. That like where you detail like, oh, here's the date and the space and the building I want at the time I want it. And then you have to wait for society or for estate services to email you back to confirm that you have that space, and they very rarely email you back. The other thing is too, you have to fill out the form at least 3 weeks in advance in order to have it in the first place. So we have to like at the end of 1 month, we need to have the entire following month planned in order for us to pursue booking the space. So as long as events officers are on top of it and whatnot, like we'll be able to get a state services space because the only hurdle is being ahead of schedule. But yeah, so there's a Google form, and then you have to wait for an email response, and then you confirm, and you have to be 3 weeks in advance of the date you're actually reserving the room for. And that's the summary of how to book a room through state services. Yep. Okay. And then any other questions, comments, concerns? Those on watch. Okay, perfect. Those on recording, just email music societies or just DM me or just put it in the general chat on WhatsApp. Uh, and I will reply. Cool. That's the end of the meeting. Thank you guys for watching, or thank you guys for coming. Let me, yeah. This is a bit on, yeah. I have the email you guys need. You guys can also DM the website, or sorry, DM the society. And also follow it and DM me, and I will follow you back because everyone in the committee will be followed by the account. I just have to get through all the profiles, and then that's the website we will soon be updating. But you guys want to go look at it just to see what the society was like in the past, and also just to kind of see like, whoa, we're out of date. Go ahead and look. And then yeah, that's it. Thank you. Bye bye. I will pause the recording. How do I do that? Record.